Lazies? It is Monday, August the 4th. Yes, a new month. It is actually National Black Business Month. Let's go! And I am so excited to unpack money stories this month. Tell Your Money Story is an entrepreneur spotlight series that we're running for the entire month of August, where we get entrepreneurs to tell their stories around learning how to stand up their business, how to keep it alive, how to offer customers what they actually want and not what they hope they desire, right? So that they generate revenue in their business as they solve problems. And it's been absolutely beautiful. We've already dropped 2 money stories publicly. That was Friday, and then again today, and then every day of the work week. We will continue to do that, but I'll share some reflections on my own money story, okay? I saw my community raise capital. Whether they were raffle tickets sold at church for some big event that we were planning to do, whether it was selling world's finest chocolate at school since elementary school, but all the way through high school for things when we wanted to go on a really, really big field trip. For instance, at my elementary school in Gadsden, South Carolina, shout out to the Blue Jays from Gadsden Elementary. I actually ran into my elementary school principal, Dr. Barr, at Essence Fest when I was there to speak. It was amazing seeing her. I hadn't hugged her since I was 11. But we would, for the 4th and 5th graders, we would go to either Williamsburg, Virginia, or Washington, D.C. every other year. That way, 4th and 5th graders got to go to both, right? But we would do fundraisers throughout the year. To go and selling world's finest chocolate was a part of that, right? So I'd always seen community-centered collective capital raising as a means to an end. And I think what was very different about that context versus what we experience today in adulthood as entrepreneurs is we knew that we had time. Right? The fundraiser didn't start 2 days before we needed to leave. Like, we gave ourselves an entire school year. We gave ourselves 2 months to sell the church raffle tickets, right? And there was safety in that. There was a calmed nervous system, right? In that setting. And a lot of times when we're educated about finance and banking products such as loans or what it's like to crowdfund online, there is this scarcity mindset and urgency that is often pushed because that's a marketing tactic these days, right? And I want us to be reminded that we're not new to this, we're true to this. We are not starting from scratch, we're starting from memory. And so heal your relationship with time and surrender yourself to all of the beautiful things that your aunts and uncles, your grandmothers and your grandfathers, your parents taught you around raising capital and saving capital, that pennies add up, that nickels add up, right? That every little bit counts. And now that you have time and that you are worthy of the time that it takes to build whatever pot of capital that you need. So I invite you to tell your money story, okay? Tell your money story this month. Go to blazegroup.io/blog. Check out the stories that have already been shared. And at the end of every single article, you'll see a link to submit your own. Let's really celebrate each other this month by spending time with each other, spending time unpacking stories, spending time commenting on posts, spending time reflecting and journaling yourself. And then share your money story. Big shout out to those who have already been featured this month. I will say your names loud and proud right now. Angelique Hamilton, you are absolutely beautiful in the way that you articulate your story. Angelique owns an HR consulting firm called HR Chic Group. And she's really keen about what's happening in the industry right now as AI disrupts the labor force and layoffs, etc. And so she really warns people that when you hear terms like restructuring, right, it probably means that there's some disruption happening in terms of what they think headcount needs to be now that AI is giving so many cheap options to conduct workflows. But she gives you insights on how to find peace of mind for rainy days, how to prepare yourself for any risk that you might not have. The jobs that might have cushioned you and buoyed you, especially as entrepreneurs, working a 9 to 5 on the side is not uncommon, right? And she talks about how she wants this to be a legacy business, how she is intentionally building her business to not only feed herself and her family today, but her children and her children's children. And so it's beautiful. Big shout out to Brie Flemings. She was featured today. She is the founder of Gem Social, which is a technology platform. And I'd say it's not only a marketing platform, but it also hits fintech as well, financial technology, where she is allowing creators to be monetized for the campaigns that they produce. She's giving them a lot more sustainable revenue by bridging them to brands, but she's helping brands have a lot more predictability and confidence around the campaigns that they are hiring creators for. She's showing them lists of who are the top and most effective influencers, right? Who are the lowest? What are the traction rates? What is the ROI that you're really getting on this stuff, right? And she has some really, really fire money gems. She talks about how when she initially started growing, she started hiring too fast and spending too much money, thinking that would, make her grow faster. And no, it didn't. She learned the hard way that being lean helps you to have a very, very clear strategy and to focus on what really matters and not be distracted by the fluff, right? And that's such good advice. And she's actually building her business for optionality. She'd love for it to be a legacy business, right? And that is always top of mind for her, but she's also open to the idea of an exit, right? She really values optionality. And we love that. We believe that entrepreneurs should live in the land of plenty, that you are at your best, that you feel your best, that you are most empowered when you have a menu of options to choose from, right? And you're able to go down the path that feels good to you versus an ultimatum, right? That you feel pressured inside of. And so big shout out to Brie on her platform, Gem Social, and all that she's doing to really advance the influencer marketing industry. She's really maturing that industry and adding structure. And we love to see it. We love to see it. So head to blazegroup.io/blog, read their stories, and at the end, there's a call to action for you to submit your own. Please do that. We would love to celebrate you all month long. That's it for today, folks. That's the ask. If you are listening inside of the Blaze Group app, I ask for you to reflect and share your money story for yourself. Just journal it down. You don't have to write it with pen and paper if you don't want. You could actually type it into the journal prompt in this section today. So that you start unpacking the things that you have found to be true inside of your business, right? So you can reflect on the things that you were raised with, potentially similar to my story, right? That you can go back to again and again so that you're not relegated to hyper fast, hyper urgent, hyper exploitative or extractive systems that don't give you much optionality, right? Love and light. May you be well and do well. Take care.